welcome. It's the first time Cedar and IBSi is doing this in Dubai, and this is the city of mice. And it's so we're very happy to be doing one of our first events in Dubai after a long time. I'm Sanjiv Anand, for those who have not met me before, and I chair both Cedar and IBSi. I've been with the firm for 35 years, which is a very long time. Started in Chicago many, many years ago. I was reminded this morning, actually, coming down Sheikh Zayed Road, because when we started the office here in 1999, most of this didn't exist all the way to Abu Dhabi. And in fact, I remember 2001, 2002, driving down Sheikh Zayed Road. It was much narrower. You know, Emirates Stars was going up, and we would wonder who will ever occupy the building. And you get to Abu Dhabi, and it was far more simpler than what it looks like now. So it's been, I think, a long journey and a very successful journey for the UAE and where it is today. And the reason that I'm kind of recalling this is in the context of today's topics and the banking sector as a whole. I was also keen to see how it's evolved in the last 20-odd years, right? So I asked some of my team members to kind of put some data for me together. And it'll give us a foundation and a context to where digital is today and where it's going to go through the session today. So, you know, maybe this is interesting, maybe it's not, but back in '99, the asset book in the UAE was $68 billion. And it's 900 billion today, so it's more than a 10x. The branch network, 365 to 587. Obviously, we know that it's kind of consolidated a bit over COVID in the last few years. And we know, I think, banks like ADCB and Mashrak have taken fairly aggressive positions on downsizing networks. We know the population is never an exact number in any country, but it's from 3 million to over 10 million. The good news for people in the room is that back in '99, the IT spend for banks would have been in the 230 million range, and it's probably estimated to be 2.5 billion right now. So I think that would probably bring a smile to all the members of the ecosystem. Some of them are here today and also sponsors. What else is interesting? And I guess the bank asset to GDP ratio, if you go back '99, you know, it was 0.8, and it's 2.2 right now. Singapore's like a 6.9. I think the UK is a bit over-levered at 8.6. And so it's fascinating, especially for somebody like me who has seen the evolution of the region on where we are today. Obviously, this has created a great foundation for the growth of digital and the sector. And, you know, one of the things that we always forget is that most of this couldn't happen if telecom wasn't the backbone. And I remember starting my career actually in the US in Chicago as a telecom consultant. So for me, that's kind of close to my heart because obviously back then it was mostly wireline, and then, you know, in the '90s you got wireless and obviously lots and lots of data. But I think what we all need to remember that, you know, many businesses, many industries can only be created on the back of a good backbone, and I think telecom has been a key part of the success of banking and digital, not only in the UAE, but obviously all parts of the world. I was just looking at, for example, average internet speeds, and I was looking at broadband usage. And, you know, it's 200 Mbps is, you know, is currently it's gone from 4 to 200, which is 50x. And broadband usage has obviously gone from 253K Mbps to 6.7. So, you know, lots of things have had to work for this to come into play and for the ecosystem to work and the enablers to be there, whether it's large tech, whether it's fintech, whether it's finance companies, whether it's the banks. The fintechs are very interesting because you can't live with them, you can't live without them. Sometimes they're competition, sometimes they are complement your solutions to your clients, right? So that was, one set of reflections from my perspective, from where my hair went from black to gray, and what happened, during this phase. In essence, what's the underlying drivers, and because I'm a scorecards specialist in terms of strategy execution, if you look at the scorecard framework, you say, listen, in order to meet financial expectations, you need to meet customer expectations. In order to meet customer expectations, you need to excel at key processes. And if you need to excel at key processes, you need to have the right organizational and technology frameworks, which are the underlying drivers to financial outcomes, right? And if you go back in the early years, let's say the 90s, it was simple automation. Workflow was a big thing. I remember working with a major bank here in UAE in 99 and just getting workflow going so that the credit files would move faster was very, very difficult to do. So it started with, basic automation. And then we get to the 2000s, it's universal banking and STP. And that's where process and tech merged, right? And I think where we are today is really where customer, process, and tech has come together. The customer journey maps or the journey mapping is the customer experience has started to drive the value proposition very often. I'll apologize to some of the tech guys in the room today. Sometimes tech is the big differentiator, sometimes it's not. It's the way that the use case is done, right? So as a scorecard strategist or a strategist, it's very fascinating for me that what used to be seen as disparate elements in a strategy framework, customer, process, and technology all seem to have got bundled into one framework in terms of getting the strategy where it needs to be. As far as the future of banking, I'm no crystal ball guy. I think we all know that if you read about it in our experiences is that banking is going to turn into a marketplace, whatever that means. Some will win, some will lose. Obviously, customer expectations are enablers. Innovation and fintech and open banking are some of the enablers. There are many, many more. We are happy to be here today. As I said, we've been on the ground here since 1999. And some of the leadership that will run the sessions today, Raman, Chetan specifically, Murtaza, have also been with the firm since 1999. So I'm hoping that as they run their sessions today, they reflect their past experiences and knowledge of this market and having some interesting conversations. We are right now running two businesses. We obviously have Cedar, which is a management consulting business, helping financial services clients and on their business and tech strategy and implementation. We bought a small company in the UK in 2015 called IBS Intelligence that does fintech research and advisory. I think we bought it at the right time. At 2015, there wasn't much of fintech, but after that, it's kind of showed up. And then what I closed today, we're in the early days of trying to raise a $50 million fintech VC fund, leveraging our knowledge of markets, right? So anybody got a check to write, they can meet me at lunch. I'm happy to take one. But in any case, welcome all of you. Hope you have a good day. And we'll get a chance to chat at lunch and at the end of the day also. And with that, we have a couple of market knowledge sessions that I think we will find useful. I'm going to request Vincenzo to come on stage from my team and just be the MC, right? So thank you.